Hey guys, it's Tim from Capes and Scowls, and today I get to do the intro! I've been promoted! Hooray! So, this is new comic book day reviews for the week of February 15th. I hope everybody had a nice Valentine's Day. If you didn't do anything for Valentine's Day, you may want to get on that. And we're going to get started. And we're going to get started with this. The comic book store's Mardi Gras sale, which will happen on Saturday, February 25th. Everything in the store will be on sale. It'll be a nice sale. There will be a game of chance involving bead toss, because Mardi Gras theme, right? It'll be fun. And 40% off all graphic novels, 20% off new comics back issues, 20% off board games, gaming books and dice, 20% off all comic and gaming supplies, 20% off Magic singles. They never go on sale. $95 Magic booster boxes, 20% off Warhammer and paint. If you're not sure where something qualifies, you can just ask, but this is roughly the sale. All right, let's get going.
Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. What? I'm second. Yeah, it's weird. Tim's just got way more high energy than I do right now. I'm working on no sleep. It's just not fun. But we have comics, so we're going to get to them. First up, we have Invincible, issue number 133. As you can see at the bottom, the end of all things, part 1 of 12. We have this 12-part arc that is going to end Invincible. And it's very sad because arguably this is one of the best titles I've read in a long time. But we are dealing with the aftermath and the tragedy of the last issue and the fallout and ramp up of what's going to be going on with this. It's really not a lot that you can say without spoiling a lot of it, but there are a lot of ups from this, so that way the tragedy from the last issue is offset and it's a little bit more hopeful than it could be. But overall, this is a great series, and the way it's starting out, these next 11 issues are going to be pretty epic. So I highly suggest picking this one up.
Alright guys, time for the trades. Let's show you what's new this week. I've got Batman, The Golden Age, Volume 2. I started reading Volume 1, I haven't finished it yet. But it's really good. It's very cool to see Batman from back in the day. And then we've got Green Lantern, Volume 8. I believe this is the end of the New 52 stuff. And I am correct. It also has the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps Rebirth #1 in it. Another Castle. Your princess is in another castle. I've never read this, but it gets good reviews. Second Sight. I have no idea. The Fix by Nick Spencer, that guy who did that Captain America story where everybody lost their minds. There's a dog. It's about goons. It's pretty good. Deadpool and the Mercs for Money. I didn't read this either, but hey, Deadpool. Future Quest, it's that good Hanna-Barbera tie-in book. It's got Space Ghost. It's fantastic. Space Ghost.
Is he coast to coast?
No, he's not coast to coast. I suppose he could go from coast to coast if he wanted to. Coasts are so beneath Space Ghost. Seven to Eternity is one of the best books you could possibly be reading right now, so read it. It's Remender. Remender's amazing. Do it. Action Comics, Volume 1 just came out. If you want to get into the Superman end of the universe, which is pretty good, get to it. Eclipse by Zach Kaplan. If you go to capesandscowlspodcast.com, we just interviewed him. He's a sweetheart of a man. A huggable man. It was Skype, we didn't hug him. But his book's great, get it. And last but certainly not least is Rick and Morty, Volume 4. This is the Kyle Starks episodes, if you will. Get in here on your boy. Yeah, Rick and Morty boy. Yeah, boy. Boy. Yeah, boy.
Does it have hobo fighting?
Do what?
Does it have hobo fighting?
It doesn't have... it might have hobo fighting. I don't know. I'll buy it, read it, and tell you if there's hobo fighting. But if not, Rock Candy Mountain comes out soon, and that has hobo fighting. Alright, guys. First and foremost... Go Cleveland University. Secondly, let's talk about God Country from Image. If you recall, I did issue 1, I guess last month, right? So, basically, it is a God's sword is found on Earth, and this old man who has Alzheimer's picks it up, and he can remember things as long as he holds the sword. Sounds like another book that involved something similar with a girl who was paralyzed and she could walk when she held the sword. It was called The Sword. That was a good book too. Anyways, basically, he doesn't want to give back the sword, and one of the gods comes down to take it from him. It's not as action-packed as you may think, because it involves a lot of talking. Even the sword does some talking. But the book is still pretty good, and it looks very promising going forward. If you enjoyed the first issue, while not as action-packed, this is still really good. And I think I'll probably read this in trade, but it's good. So go get it. God Country.
Next up, Rebirth, Batwoman, issue number 1. Kind of an interesting book. You don't need to know a lot about Batwoman for this issue because you are taking some of the origins and some of the things that you may not have known about Batwoman and some of the things you do know. Kind of setting up the rudderless Batwoman, as it were. A lot of things about her character, she just never really had a direction. She was always following some other people. So this is going to be one of those issues that is setting up what should be her branching out and actually getting her own identity and moving on with that. Time skips a lot, so you do have to kind of pay attention to what's going on, and it sets up what should be an interesting plot later on. Definitely pick this one up.
So I got to start this review by saying I don't like the X-Men pretty much at all. So I thought it would be nice of me to give them another shot. So I chose Uncanny X-men, number 18. It's by Cullen Bunn. I generally like Cullen Bunn. This is one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. This issue was horrendous. And why are you people reading the X-Men if they're giving you this filth? This book is terrible. All it accomplished, it's tying in with the Inhumans vs. X-Men. So if you haven't been reading a lot of this, which I haven't, I only know it because Paul's been reviewing IVX a bunch, this doesn't give you any setup to what has happened. It's Sebastian Shaw and Zorn, and Zorn's like, hey, let's have peace, let's be fun-loving mutants and blah, 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 hippies and flowers and all that. And Sebastian Shaw's like, we need to murder people and keep the Inhumans in line, and if you don't put your foot down now, they're going to try to rebel. And that's kind of what happens, and Zorn's like, oh, the Black King was right, and this is just so bad. I wish that I gave the X-Men a chance on a different issue, because I hate this, and you shouldn't buy it. It's terrible, and this is Marvel's fault. Actually, it's Fox's fault. Fox, this is all your fault. This is your fault, Fox.
Last, and in my opinion least, the Wildstorm, issue number 1. Wildstorm is an imprint title from DC that was launched a long time ago with Jim Lee at the helm. So that was Wildcats and Stormwatch and those early days of Image. That was eventually bought by DC and then become an imprint of itself and somewhat outside of the DC universe. This was just not a good book. It really wasn't. It relies on you knowing every in and out of Wildcats and every in and out of the Wildstorm universe. It is not new person friendly. It is not doing any new reader any favors. The plot is very convoluted. We don't know exactly what's going on. For the most part, we don't even know who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. Like, we don't know who's on what team. New characters are coming up. New versions of characters that didn't exist before. It just wasn't good. Like new issues, especially new issues from returning and relaunches and stuff like that, they should give the reader at least some knowledge. It doesn't have to be a complete rehash of what's going on, because they don't want that. You don't want a complete rehash of everything that's come before you get into the story, but it should have something. There should be some kind of introduction, and there just wasn't here. It threw you in the deep end and then threw weights on top of you. Like, it didn't even want you to sink or swim. It wanted you to sink, and It didn't even have Jim Lee art to save it. So I would do a hard pass unless you are a diehard, and I mean you absolutely love Wildstorm imprint. If you do, then you might understand what's going on. I don't. It was one of those times where I was not really reading comics when the imprint was bought into DC and before the New 52 and things like that. So it did not do me any favors. So it's up to you. Take a risk on it if you want. I refuse to read any more of this. It's not going to happen.
And for my final book, I did Doctor Strange #1.mu, which stands for #1 Monsters Unleashed, which is really stupid. But the issue itself, I gave it a shot. I haven't been really following Monsters Unleashed or Doctor Strange, but Chip Zdarsky wrote it, and I like Chip Zdarsky. He's a funny guy. This book, not that funny. It's actually written pretty well. I was surprised he didn't put a lot of jokes in it. I do like that in every book Zdarsky writes, he tries to make Spider-Man look stupid. And that continues in this book, which made me very happy. It's a fun-loving stupid. Basically, monsters are fighting monsters. Doctor Strange is very weak. He doesn't have a ton of his magic anymore. And he's trying to be useful in a fight where he's not that useful. What is this monster's name? Googam or whatever. These old... Googam. You know, this 1960s monster that they brought back. Is trying to fight this other monster. Strange pretty much makes it so he can't kill this monster and get his, glory for destroying this monster. He ends up actually teleporting the monster away. So the two of them go and try to hunt down the monster and finish it on their own without the Avengers or everybody else. They do borrow a jet from Spider-Man, which is quite funny. And, yeah. So this book is actually pretty good, although I don't care about Monsters Unleashed. It was done really well. I actually enjoyed it a bunch. So, Zdarsky, good for you, man. You did good. But, yeah, check it out.
All right, guys, thanks, and that is pretty much it for the week. We are going to get back to things being a little bit more normal. Starting next week, we'll be doing another giveaway. Want to thank everybody that has been tuning in thus far. Thank you to all our Patreons. Click the link above if you would like to become one of our patrons. There's a lot of exclusive things that are coming out, including the unedited version of what you see here. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's just randomness. You never quite know. But we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.